Very good evening and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us live for this insightful webinar hosted by Amrita Devi Foundation. And I'm truly excited for the discussion because ESG is no longer just a framework, it's becoming a mindset, a responsibility, and in many ways, a mirror that reflects how authentically organizations walk their talk. And today's topic is the new ESG lens, how CSR leaders can drive authentic sustainability. But before we start this powerful conversation, I want to share with you something that lies at the heart of today's event, our work at Amrita Devi Foundation. Let us begin by watching our introductory video that captures our journey of empowering women, transforming the rural livelihood, and driving the sustainable environmental action. So let's have a video, please. So it's taking time. So we are going to play our intro video in just a minute. Okay, I think there is a problem with the video right now. So let us play that video afterwards. So now it's time to meet our esteemed panelists today, leaders who not only shape the corporate ecosystem, but also influence how sustainability gets embedded in culture. So joining us first is Priyanka Sharma ji. She is the Assistant Vice President, Human Resource at Ganpact India. She is an accomplished HR leader with 9+ years of experience across HR shared services, HR transitions, and a large scale system implementations across APAC. She has led PeopleSoft rollout, payroll transformation, and digital HR modernization. Her expertise lies in the change management, process excellence, and the stakeholder alignment. Priyanka's passion lies in building employee centric, value driven HR systems that deliver the sustainable business impact. So, welcome Priyanka ji to the show. Next, we are having with us is Khushbu Sharma ji. She is the Associate Vice President HR India and Dubai at YA. She is a seasoned HR leader with over a decade of experience in building the future-ready organizations. She has led multiple digital HR transformations, talent interventions, and culture building initiatives. Her strong focus on leadership development and people experience drives the high impact, scalable HR framework. Known for her strategic thinking and empathy driven leadership, she builds workplaces that are not only productive but deeply human. So, welcome Khushbuji to the show. Next, we are also joined by Captain Vipul Sharma ji. He is the Director HR GNIT at Museumi India. He is an accomplished HR and a business leader with rich experience from multinational and manufacturing environments. Known for his disciplined strategic leadership, he has led cultural transformation, organizational development, and talent strategy at Museumi, Honda, and Santis. Her excels in aligning people, digital systems, and business priorities to create forward looking, high performing organizations. And finally, we are joining with us is Pranay Chaturvedi ji. He is the General Manager HR, IR, and Admin at Viola India and WS Private Limited. He is a respected HR and IR practice owner with deep experience in workforce management, compliance, employee relations, and organizational development. He is playing a vital role in strengthening the culture, grievance management, and policy design. Pranay's balanced leadership and a strong stakeholder collaboration make him a trusted force in building the resilient people first organizations. So, thank you all for joining us today, and we are honored to have each one of you here today. So, let's begin our conversation with Priyanka ji. So, my Priyanka ji, my first question is to you is that how can the HR leader integrate the ESG principles directly into employee lifecycle touchpoints, from hiring to culture building to ensure the sustainability becomes a lived organizational value and not just a policy? Over to you.
So, thank you, Amrita Devi, for the opportunity. I think the most important starting point is to recognize that ESG cannot remain a compliance framework sitting in the annual reports. For employees, ESG actually becomes real only when it is woven into the moments that matter across the employee's life cycle. From the first time they encounter your brand to the way they grow, contribute, lead, and even exit the organization. So, from a perspective that how HR touches ESG across the employee life cycle, I would like to segment this into six parts primarily. So I would talk about hiring and employer branding being the first touch point for any of the candidate getting to know about an organization. So most organizations typically talk about sustainability after onboarding, but I believe it needs to start earlier in the employee value proposition. When candidates see sustainability stories embedded in job descriptions, career pages showcasing green projects, and interview panelists asking questions that, tell us how you make responsible decisions in your work. They immediately understand what the organization stands for. A unique approach I have seen is skill based ESG hiring that not only focus on technical capability, but for sustainable mindset traits like system thinking, long term orientation, ethical decision making. These are becoming as important as leadership competencies in today's scenario. Companies like Infosys integrate sustainability strongly throughout their recruitment messaging, even showcasing their carbon neutrality journey and communicating education programs in their pre-placement talk itself. The second point, what want to talk about in the employee life cycle journey is getting an employee onboarded and socializing that what's our sustainability agenda is as an organization. So day one, employees should feel that this organization walks the talk. It's not just about adding a sustainability slide in your induction or orientation deck. It's more about making the new hire feel that vibe and providing an immersive onboarding experience. So globally, Patagonia is one of the organization known for its onboarding process wherein they take their employees outdoors, showing conservation initiatives and giving them a direct feeling or experience of the mission they are onto. This immersive experience that builds emotional ownership rather than just an intellectual ownership with the employees. A unique idea is also pairing new hires with ESG buddies who help them understand not just how we work but also that why we work this way. Third point out of the six agendas, what I've spoken about is performance, rewards, and work design. So this is a stage which most of the organization drop the ball. So behavior doesn't change unless they are measured. So it's imperative that as HR professionals, we linked ESG specific KPIs not only just for leadership performance but across the roles. For example, how a manager reduce waste in team processes, how somebody mentors an underrepresented colleague or contribute toward a social impact project. Then rewarding sustainability innovation is also important, no matter how small it is. Another interesting technique, what I found is introducing ESG pauses. These essentially are the checkpoints where team evaluates if a decision is sustainable from environmental, social, and ethical perspective. It trains employees to think ESG as a reflex and not just as an afterthought. Fourth area, what I would like to cover from an employee life cycle perspective is learning and development. And of course, the learning and development from a leadership perspective as well. So, a lot of future ready organizations are creating ESG learning pathways that focus on developing skills around climate literacy, responsible AI, inclusive leadership, and ethical risk. But the differentiating factor here is the leaders. How do we develop leaders? Because leaders model culture. So, as HR professionals, we should move toward ESG enabled leadership frameworks where leaders are expected to demonstrate and are evaluated on parameters like responsible decision making, long term thinking, stakeholder empathy, and courage to challenge unsustainable choices. So, when a leader who makes decisions based on ESG value, that becomes a culture amplifier and people start modeling them. Organizations like Wipro and IKEA are already on the journey of developing such strong ESG leadership frameworks. IKEA is one of the organization which I know for a fact trains it all store employees, senior leadership people. So from an A employee to a Z employee on sustainable product circularity and also around customer education. So, see, there's some of the best practices which organizations can imbibe from each other and implement. Um, Fifth area, what I want to cover out of the six aspects, what I spoke in the beginning, is everyday culture and experience. And that's where ESG, you know, comes to life. It becomes the way we live it. So HR can initiate certain initiatives around green nudges, sustainable office norms, default eco-friendly choices. In one of my organization, we introduced an ice bucket challenge around sustainability, that you pick up a challenge, you give a nominal amount as some of the NGOs, and challenge your community to pick up another sustainability initiative, and that became a change, and that comes out to be a very popular initiative which my one of my organization took care of. Then there are employee-led ESG councils which can be created, giving people ownership and allowing ideas to emerge bottoms up from a cultural perspective. You can establish digital sustainability dashboards where employees can track how their contribution is influencing the company's ESG goals. So when an employee, see that how their daily behavior is influencing the real matrix and creating that real impact, ESG stops being aspirational and becomes more like a habit to an organization. And last area is about when employee departs, they're no longer a part of you. So exit and alumni touch points. So ESG can be a signature even in offboarding. So for example, offering exiting employees opportunities to stay involved in social impact initiatives, be mentors for sustainability focused programs. This strengthens the long-term responsible brand, and organizations like TCS, Infosys, and Salesforce are already up in the game and kind of implementing these practices. So these were the six areas which I primarily wanted to touch upon from an employee life cycle per se, and how ESG can be embedded into the same. So for me, ESG becomes a lived organizational value when HR moves from just communicating sustainability to engineering sustainability into experience. It's not about adding new processes, it's more about redesigning the existing processes with a sustainability lens. And that is when sustainability becomes a lived value rather than just a policy or a framework that lies in your annual reports. So that's what, in a summary, I wanted to talk about, that how as HR professionals we can embed ESG as a lived value throughout the employee life.
Beautifully said, Priyanka ji. What you have highlighted is so important that the ESG cannot remain as a dashboard term. It has to breathe inside the organization through every employee movement. You have said that it could be the hiring decisions, onboarding narratives, learning journeys, and leadership behaviors and day to day rituals also. So, when the people experience the sustainability rather than read about it, it becomes a culture for the employees or for the company too.
Agreed. You just
So
have to breathe it.
yeah. So next, Khushbuji, my next question is to you: is that with increasing expectations from the employee and communities, what innovative CSR initiative or the models do you see emerging that genuinely align with the long-term ESG impact rather than a short-term visibility? Over to you, Khushbuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question. So over the years, what now believe is ESG is no longer a fancy term to be used or a compliance to be, a tick in the checklist. Uh, be it an investor or a consumer or an employee themselves, they trust brands, companies, organizations that breathe ESG in the real sense. And having said that, there's a lot that needs to be changed in the world. So, starting right from climate change to uh, creating a startup ecosystem to educating children who are underprivileged, these are a couple of things that organizations have started focusing more on. And the metros are so full of organizations that there's a huge need of cascading culture opportunities to tier 2 and tier 3 places. And that's where the ESG opportunities lie. That's how organizations have started investing, creating responsibilities, creating funds in places where they can actually make a change, create small societies, communities, which will later on become either a talent pool, a resource pool, an ancillary industry for them in the coming future. And that's how they're creating a long term impact on the society. So, having said that, again, I mean, they any organization makes it a point that they are really compliant in terms of how they conduct these activities, um, and awareness is the key, wherein people want to practice that there's awareness in terms of being environment friendly, uh, in the sense of giving back to the society, in the sense of being compliant, and at the same time, it also helps them create diversity. So yeah, that those are a couple of points that I feel helps us create an impact in the longer sense.
Absolutely, Kashbujin. You are right. Just that today's organization are shifting from the photo of CSR to impact CSR. That we are saying that the impact is important for the society. And I would like to add on this that the models like the long-term community partnerships, skill-based volunteering, or social innovation labs, digital inclusion programs, and regenerative environmental projects are giving CSR a new identity, one that is measurable, human, and they are deeply authentic also. So next, I will move to Captain Vipul Sharma ji. My next question is to you: that how can the organizations measure the authenticity of their sustainability efforts? What metrics, frameworks, or the real-time indicators truly reflect the impact on the people, planet, and the communities? I think there is some network issue with Vipulji. I hope she will be joining in few time. So till then, my question is to you, Pranayji. Till then, the Vipulji is joining. So what role does the collaboration between the corporates, NGOs, and local communities? I think Vipulji have come up here. So till the Vipulji is joining, Pranayji, we can move on to you and we can start the conversation with you. So, what role does this, the collaboration between the corporates, NGOs, and the local communities and the government play in driving the meaningful ESG outcomes, and how can the HR heads lead these partnerships more strategically? Move over to you, Pranayji.
Right. Thank you for this question, Hemlata ji. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Pranayji, your voice
Yeah,
is audible.
thank you for the question, Hemlata ji. When we talk about the ESG today, that is environment, social, and governance impact, one thing is very absolutely clear that no single institution can drive the meaningful change, whether it is local governance, NGOs, or the local communities or government, even corporates. So, real sustainability only emerges when corporates, NGOs, local governments, and uh, local communities come together and have a partnership in operating these together. They cannot run the show in the silo zones. So where the collaboration matters, each stakeholder plays a very important essential strength. That is corporates. Corporate brings this skilled labor, manpower, technology, structure, and the workforce. Whereas the NGOs, grassroots levels, they have a grassroots level knowledge. They have a cultural sensitivity. They have a community trust, something corporate that cannot be by overnight. Whereas the local communities live very reality. They have a ground level knowledge whether what is true or what is false. They know better. Whereas the government agencies provide the policy direction, permissions, and scalability. That is a long-term continuity. When these all together collaborate, ESG brings a corporate initiative and become a shared ecosystem. So this is the impact becoming sustainable, measurable, and ethical, meaningful ESG system. And regarding this corporate head positions, corporate head only support function. Corporate head is not a only support function. It is an activator or a catalyst. Though they play a very important partnership in bringing all these four together, thus playing the important role. This is all about.
Thank you, Pranayji. That is important that the collaboration is the backbone of ESG. Corporates bring the resources, then the NGO brings the field knowledge, government brings the scale, and the communities bring the lived realities. And when the HR heads leads that aligns with the empathy and the clarity, outcomes shift from the transactional to the transformational. That is important thing. And now my next question is to you, Vipulji. Again, I'm going to with you that how can the organization measure the authenticity of their sustainability efforts, and what metrics, frameworks, or the real-time indicators truly reflect the impact on the people, planet, and the communities? Over to you, Vipulji.
Hi. So thank you. Am I audible? I suppose I face some network issues. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, yeah, you are audible.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
continue.
Vipulji.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, primarily it is important that the outcomes which we get have to be measurable, and it is important that organizations must measure the impact of the sustainability efforts, and in order to do so, the kind of research which I have just gone through and have done. So we show that 83% of the consumers expect companies to shape best ECG practices, and 76% of them would remove the ties with those falling on the people, planet, or environment. Now, it is also EU's CSRD expanding to approximately 50,000 companies. So, therefore, authenticity isn't about only the polished reports. It's also about that we must establish some key frameworks which are very pertinent and important for authentic ECG measurement. Taking that forward, the frameworks which are present and which we can utilize would be one is the Global Reporting Initiative, which is called GRI. So it emphasizes basically on the stakeholders' inclusivity. Now, for example, if community well-being has to be measured, the framework of Global Reporting Initiative has to be undertaken. Secondly, SASP, which stands for now under ISR, it focuses on the risk and the opportunities, which would be for biodiversity loss in case of agribusiness. The third would be TCFP, which is Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures. Now, this is very important in terms of planet focus and forward-looking example, maybe the financial risk which a company faces. Fourth would be PBL, which is triple bottom line. It is important that people, planet, and the profits have to be balanced in sync. Taking it forward, I think the core metrics would remain for quantifying the impact on people, planet, and communities. Now, if we must plant the trees, now what outcomes have to come out of it? Those have to be measurable. Like if biodiversity increases by 20%, so that has to be measurable. So anything which has to be there, there should be some ROI for it, and the impact should be known. Now, we can use the common HR format of using the SMART goals, and the SMART code would be like, we all know that specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So now that sort of setup we must utilize in the present context. Now, the benchmarking has to be done as per the peers. So this is again a very important thing, that we should know that everything has to be benchmarked. Now there are four pillars which we know in case of key frameworks for authentic ECG measurement, and one would be the planet and people, communities, and the governance. Now taking that forward, we must get the real-time indicators like from static reports to dynamic insight. So that must be, and if we go forward and implement all these setup in 2026, so what should be our roadmap? Now, according to me, the roadmap has to be, we must assess and prioritize our efforts and conduct like double materiality Q1, select 10 to 15 KPIs and then measure it. Then we should build tech stack, like example, integrate IOA and AI together. And then we must assure and report. The reporting mechanism has to be done properly, so that the proper structure could be understood from where we lack and where we are. So that would be the third party audits and the reports. And the fourth would be to iterate, and that would be review quarterly, or any practices like we can have maybe a monthly reviews or a 6 monthly reviews. So this is how we can go about the thing. Right. Thank you. I hope I was audible during the time.
Yeah, thank you. Brilliant points, Vipulji, from your side. And as I overtook all the things, is that the measuring the true authenticity means going beyond the financial CSR span, and it should be a transparency frameworks. Third party there, as you said, that the third party audit should be there, impact dashboard should be there, community testimonials can be there, carbon reduction indicators, and quantitative social change stories, because number shows the progress but the people's experiences that shows the authenticity, and I believe on that thing. So my last question is to all of you, that I would like that every one of you put the points on that, and we will now move to our one combined question. In today's rapidly shifting ESG landscape, what does the authentic sustainability mean to you and your organization? And how do you ensure it going beyond the compliance or branding? So we would like to start from you, Vipulji.
Sorry, I could not hear the question properly. Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, in today's rapidly shifting ESG landscape, what does the authentic sustainability mean to you and your organization? And how do you ensure it goes beyond the compliance and the branding?
I'm really
I hope
sorry. Actually, I'm facing some network
I'm
issues. I'm able to
audible.
hear the
Yeah, I
question.
think.
So let
So
me
I
just
would like
go
to,
through that and we'll come
yeah,
back.
yeah, Priyanka ji, I would like to you to answer it.
So for me, authentic sustainability is when ESG stops being a separate agenda and it becomes the way an organization thinks, decides, and behave every single day. In today's shifting ESG landscape, it's no longer about publishing a report or a dashboard or running few green initiatives. It is about embedding responsibility into the operating DNA of the business, and that's what I believe. And authenticity comes from action and not just from announcements or driving certain initiatives on an annual basis. And I think as an organization, as employees, we should focus on three things. What I believe in is making sustainability data driven. So measure whatever sustainable initiatives you are carrying out as volunteering programs, joining communities. Measure the impact of those sustainable initiatives. How are you making a difference? Do you move from point A to point B? Has it become the way you breathe the culture of sustainability in the organizations? Second point from my perspective would be linking sustainability to business value and culture. So for us, sustainability is not a charity. It's about building resilient, future-ready enterprises. Whether it's reducing our own environmental footprint, promoting diversity, or strengthening ethical governance, we should be tying ESG goals to performance, leadership behaviors, and day-to-day decision making. That's how it becomes, part of how people work, and not just an annual awareness campaign or just fun activities or initiatives just being done to check box that CSR initiative has been done and completed as a part, right? And most importantly, empower people to own the agenda. So for me, authenticity comes to life when employees or the people associated with an organization start feeling that they are responsible for it. So the employee-led initiatives, volunteering programs, and inclusion networks creates a bottom-up energy in the organization. Sustainability becomes something people want to do and not something what HR has asked them to do. So, in short, authentic sustainability is when ESG becomes invisible because it's simply how the organization operates on an autopilot mode. It goes beyond compliance and branding when it aligns with the purpose, is backed by data, and is lived consistently through the people, culture, and the decision an organization made. So, that's what an authentic sustainability or ESG would mean to me.
Great, Priyanka ji. Great points by you. And I like your 2 points mostly, that the authenticity comes after the action and ESG should become invisible. So that is a great point. And I think the 3 points could be the intent system and the consistency. That is totally important. So next I move on to Khushbu ji. Your points on that question.
So I totally agree with what Priyanka just said. Sustainable, that means that stays as is, right? And we've also heard of the saying that, as you sow, so shall you reap. So whenever we take steps towards sustainability, it should have an impact. And that impact, I know, could be data driven and we can measure it, but the fun lies in uh, seeing that it's been realized, in the realization of those goals. That's what we take pride in. That's where we feel that something like this has taken place, has been proved, and it's a lifestyle for us. So, for namesake, it's ESG, but it should actually be a lifestyle for all of us, wherein we take steps that only makes our workplaces, our lives, a better place.
Thanks, Priyanka ji. Thanks for your points. And I would like Pranay ji, your points on that.
Yeah. Authenticity sustainability means organizations generally commit to the balancing environment, social and economic needs for the present and the future generations. It involves the sustainable practices into the core operations and demonstrating transparency, accountability. And we at the Veolia Water India, which is into water sector company and the waste management, we retreat the wastewater management to the drinkable potable water. So we have also committed for sustainability through its green up programs, which focuses on the depollution, decarbonization, and resource regeneration. This is about the sustainable development program of Veolia Group. We have it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pranay ji. And I think Vipul ji having some network issues. So we are not able to listen to him. Yeah, Vipul ji, again you have come up from the network issues. So yeah, we will like your points also in this.
I think my network was not very consistent and
No worries,
sustainable.
no worries, no
Yeah.
worries.
So,
Yeah.
so basically, I'll just like to quote some examples of how we did. Taking back, I was just trying to dig back my memory, and we in somewhere around in my previous one of the companies where I worked, Center. So we would actually go and plant trees and do this activity all day, and then in terms of the Japanese companies, we had some zero carbon emission norms, and it was very company was very consistent to its approach, and the overall project, but any project would have that sort of foothold, wherein it was required that we follow the practices as we say. So I feel in terms of the overall sustainability efforts, it is very important that we must do what we say, and it should be inclusive, and it should be the cohesive efforts have to be there, and it should look very real. Most of the times, the organizations are, I'm just not taking any names here, but the organizations are generally trying to share it from their viewpoint and trying to do it just for generating the reports, but and it's like the health report of the company. but it's important that you should give considerable amount of efforts, be real about it. Once you're real about it, if you are able to join employees into it, and all the employees can feel and engage into the complete project and the complete thought, I think that is where then we would be able to do our duties properly and live up to the reports. That's what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you, Vipulji. And I like your point that we should do what we say. That is very important to the points. And I truly believe on that point that अगर ये चीज़ अगर नहीं होगी तो आप जो चीज़ चाहते हैं और सब कुछ जो द मेन इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग होती है कि दिल से सारी चीज़ें होनी चाहिए एंड इम्पैक्ट क्रिएशन पे वो इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है. So that is important. And so first of all, and before moving to the end, जब कि हम लोग अपना इंट्रो वीडियो हम स्टार्टिंग पे नहीं चला पाए थे, हम चाहेंगे कि अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन का वर्क एट द इम्पैक्ट you all could see that. So I would like Vidushi to play that video.
यह सफर उत्तराखंड से शुरू हुआ, लेकिन हमारा सपना सिर्फ एक क्षेत्र तक सीमित रहना नहीं है। हमारा लक्ष्य है पूरे भारत में बदलाव लाना। एक ऐसा भारत जहां महिलाएं और युवा अपने पैरों पर खड़े हों, जहां पर्यावरण और विकास साथ साथ चले और जहां हर गांव, हर शहर अवसर और आत्मनिर्भरता का प्रतीक बने। इसी सोच के साथ हमने अपने पहले विंग अमृता देवी वुमेन स्किल डेवलपमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट शुरू किया। हमने महिलाओं को कौशल देना शुरू किया। कंप्यूटर ऑपरेटर में, सिलाई कढ़ाई में और डिजिटल मार्केटिंग जैसे कोर्सों के जरिए और अब तक 1500 से अधिक महिलाओं ने प्रशिक्षण ले लिया है। इनमें से 300 से अधिक महिलाएं आज आत्मनिर्भर हैं। किसी ने अपना व्यवसाय शुरू किया तो किसी ने रोजगार पाया। हर कौशल स्वतंत्रता और सम्मान की ओर एक कदम बना। क्योंकि हम मानते हैं जब महिलाएं आगे बढ़ती हैं तो पूरा समाज तरक्की करता है।
My experience was amazing throughout the course. And all of it helped me a lot to become a better version of me. Thank you.
जिसमें डिजिटल मार्केटिंग के कोर्स में मैंने SEO, SMM, कैनवा, लिंक्डइन वीडियो एडिटिंग सीखा।
जब से मैंने सिलाई ज्वाइन की तो लक्ष्मी मैम ने बहुत अच्छे से, बहुत आसान तरीके से समझाया, जिससे मुझे काफी कुछ समझ आया है।
यहाँ कंप्यूटर का 3 महीने का कोर्स किया और उसके बाद मेरे पे बहुत सारे चेंजेस आए। मैं बच्चों को लिखवाने पढ़ाने के साथ साथ अधिक से अधिक प्रैक्टिकल भी करवाती हूँ। अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन का धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ।
सबसे पहले मैं अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ। फिर मैं गोविंद सिंह नेगी जी का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ, जिन्होंने हमें 6 महीने फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट सिलाई सीखने का मौका दिया, जिससे अब हम अच्छे से सिलाई सीखकर अपने खुद के कपड़े और आस-पास पड़ोस रिश्तेदारों के कपड़े सिलकर बेनिफिट कमा पा रहे हैं।
परिवर्तन सिर्फ कौशल से नहीं आता। प्रकृति के बिना जीवन अधूरा है। इसलिए हमने अपने दूसरे विंग अमृता देवी अर्थ केयर के शुरुआत के, जिसके तहत उत्तराखंड से लेकर दिल्ली NCR तक हमने 1500 से अधिक पौधे लगाए हैं, जिनमें चंदन जैसे बहुमूल्य वृक्ष और दूसरे प्रजातियां जो हमारे पर्यावरण को सुरक्षित करते हैं भी शामिल हैं। ये पौधे न सिर्फ पर्यावरण को बचाते हैं, बल्कि किसानों के लिए भविष्य की आय का साधन भी बनते हैं। और यही नहीं, हमने 110 से अधिक स्मोकलेस चूल्हे भी गांव-गांव पहुंचाए। इनसे घरों का धुआं कम हुआ, महिलाओं और बच्चों की सेहत बेहतर हुई और हर घर को मिला स्वच्छ सांस लेने का अधिकार। हमारे इन प्रयासों को देश भर में सराहा गया।
साथ में अगर आप देखें आज के दिन, तो एक जो सपना देखा गया था उससे आप एक शेप में होते हुए देख सकते।
साथ रिखाणी गांव जो कि अल्मोड़ा में स्थित है, वहां पे पहुंचा। अमृता देवी अर्थ केयर की तरफ से जो कार्य पर्यावरण के लिए किया जा रहा है, उसका एक जायजा हमने यहाँ पे लिया। मुझे ऐसा लगा कि एक ऐसा काम कर रहे हैं कि जो सिर्फ पर्यावरण के साथ साथ जो यहाँ के रहने वाले हैं उनको भी इकोनॉमिकली सपोर्ट करें। ये जो मेरे पीछे आप देख रहे हैं, ये एक चंदन का वृक्ष है। कभी सोचा नहीं होगा कि चंदन के वृक्ष उत्तराखंड में भी इस तरह से लगाए जा सकें, बट ये जो मुहिम चलाई है, जहां लोगों को एक दिशा दी गई है कि वो चंदन के पेड़ लगाएं, पर्यावरण की तरफ है ही जो सपोर्ट उसमें मिलेगा, बट इकोनॉमिकली ऑल्सो इट विल हेल्प द पीपल दोज हु आर रिसाइडिंग इन दिस एरिया।
मेरा नाम सुनीता मेहता है, मैं ग्राम रिखानी से हूँ और हमें आज अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन द्वारा धुआं रहित चूल्हे मिले। हम इनका प्रयोग करेंगे तो हमें धुआं नहीं लगेगा और जिससे हमारा स्वास्थ्य ठीक रहेगा। अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन का धन्यवाद करती हूँ जिन्होंने हमें धुआं रहित चूल्हे दिए। धन्यवाद।
एक नया कदम अमृता देवी स्किल इंडिया के साथ। इस पहल के तहत हम युवाओं को आईटी सेक्टर की इंडस्ट्री डिमांड के अनुसार ट्रेन करेंगे। 6 महीने तक अनुभवी विशेषज्ञों द्वारा गहन प्रशिक्षण और अगले 6 महीने में प्लेसमेंट की सुविधा। यह 1 साल का कार्यक्रम युवाओं को जॉब रेडी बनाएगा और कॉरपोरेट्स को मिलेंगे स्किल्ड और प्रशिक्षित प्रोफेशनल्स। CSR पार्टनर्स के लिए एक विशेष लाभ, इन प्रशिक्षित छात्रों को हायर करने का पहला अधिकार। हमारी मेहनत को सम्मानित किया गया है, जिसके लिए हमें बेस्ट एनजीओ घोषित किया गया 2021 में GNE अवार्ड्स द्वारा और भारत इकोनॉमिक फोरम की सदस्यता प्राप्त हुई और इनक्रेडिबल वर्क प्लेसेस गोल्ड सर्टिफिकेशन अवार्ड मिला है और बहुत सारे अभी और आने बाकी हैं। हमारे वेल विशर्स जिनके सपोर्ट से ये संभव हुआ, हमारे इस सफर को और मजबूत बना रहे हैं। यही है अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन की पहचान। यह यात्रा सिर्फ हमारी नहीं, आपकी भी है। आपके सहयोग से ही यह क्रांति और गहरी जड़ें पकड़ सकती है। आइए मिलकर एक ऐसा भविष्य बनाएं जहां हर महिला सशक्त हो, हर पौधा पनपे और हर जीवन बदले। आज ही अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन से जुड़े, हमारी वेबसाइट देखें और हमें सोशल मीडिया पर फॉलो करें और हमारे साथ बदलाव का हिस्सा बने।
Thank you so much for watching the work and the impact of Amrita Devi Foundation. And thanks to all the speakers today for sharing your wisdom, honesty, and the leadership. And thank you to all our audience also for joining us today, learning with us and inspiring us. So we at Amrita Devi Foundation believe that sustainability is a shared responsibility. And today's conversation reinforces that together we can create the lasting, meaningful change. So until our next session, stay conscious, stay responsible, and stay sustainable. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.